Alright everyone, and welcome to Gaming Effects. My name is Steven, aka The Phonograph, and today we are going to be interviewing Spirithawk18, also known as Jack. Jack, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, how are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm doing pretty well. So, yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So how long have you been playing video games?
Let's see. I have had my own home console since I was 4 years old. So, I've been playing games probably a little bit longer before that because I played, at local arcades when I was even younger than that. So
nice. And you said you've been playing for a while. Exactly, what got you in to playing?
Right, well, I kind of touched on that a second ago with the hint at playing in arcades. My mom would take me to arcades where she would play pool with, be it some of her friends, things of that nature. And while she was playing pool and things like that, I would just play the local arcade games. And really got into racing games, ironically enough, which is what we're currently playing. So, that was kind of my niche first starting out. Didn't really have any other game that I was really interested in unless it was Disney related, or since I have Sega Genesis, obviously I had to have a Sonic game.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, did you have a favorite arcade game?
See, now I knew you were going to ask me this, and I did, and I can't remember the name of it. And we even talked about it, and I think we even looked it up last week, and I still can't recall the name. But it was that racing game, go figure. Primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, had 3 steering wheels, and it was a dirt rally, kind of Baja racing game, if you will.
Did you ever play
And
Pole
for the
Position?
life of me, I just can't remember the name. I did play Pole Position. I like that as well. Yep.
I sucked at Pole Position. But it seemed like every pizzeria in Virginia had Pole Position. Every last one of them. Only pizzerias, though.
I don't think it's a legitimate arcade unless Pole Position was in the arcade. So.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Bob.
Well, you would switch the route.
Yes, sir, I would. Now, what would you say is your favorite video game? Like, of all time, what is your favorite?
Yeah. It's just so hard to choose. I will tell you, I don't think, surprisingly enough, I don't think I'm going to choose a racing game. Let's see, I'm trying not to have such a lull in an answer here. Forgive me for saying I think I'm gonna go with an answer that, I don't know, knowing me, you would probably expect it, but, I don't know if it would be a straightaway answer that you would expect.
Right.
I really enjoy and miss the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic games.
Man, they're awesome.
That was my first RPG, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
To where, you could fully develop your character and things like that, and I just really got into the storyline. And I'm just really, really upset that they haven't continued that as a franchise. I think they're really missing out.
See, I feel like I missed out on playing the Old Republic, like the MMO that they came out with.
Now, see, I never played that one.
See, I didn't either. But I also feel like there's a Star Wars game that I did play though. That was an MMO, almost like the Warcraft.
Sure.
Yeah, like World of Warcraft, all that stuff. But I honestly can't remember it for the life of me.
Yeah. I say that as an initial answer. Watch, I'll think of something else, post-interview. But if I had to choose one, just strictly off of memory, That's one that's always kind of just stuck out to me, that I've always had fond memories of playing.
Oh yeah, it actually makes me really happy that they ported it over. Oh no.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, they ported it over to multiple consoles. You can even get it on mobile now. And
Right.
yeah, it's always been. I can feel like it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. So where like not a lot of people really like played it, but then the ones that did play it absolutely loved it.
Sure. You know, I feel it's funny you say that. I feel like there was more interest in the first one, and touching on your, falling off the radar kind of thing. I feel like the second one did that even more so. Because I feel like everyone really connected to the storyline of the first one, and the second one was just like, hey, here's the second one. And people were like, that's cool, and didn't really pick up on it too much.
I'll be the first one to admit that I didn't play it. I never played the first one. Or no, I never played the second one, excuse me. Played the first one. But yeah, I mean, I'm one of those people you're describing. I just never did it.
Sure.
I feel like I'm missing out then.
Well, I guess we're gonna have to find an old Xbox 360 to pick up then.
Yeah, we'll make this happen somehow. What would you say is your favorite underappreciated game?
Oh man,
It's a nice little Old Republic 2. It's a cop-out. No.
no.
I kid.
Not going there. No, of course not. What's underappreciated game? You know what? Let's shine some light on the game we're actually playing right now. I feel like this game's underappreciated.
Oh yeah.
This game simultaneously came out when, what is that other game?
Blur.
The game that you actually possessed. Yeah. It simultaneously came out when Blur was released, and I feel like everybody gravitated through Blur. Words, English is hard. Yeah, I feel like everybody gravitated towards Blur, and this game just kind of fell by the wayside and kind of got shuffled into the, here's a really cool arcade racer, and there wasn't really a whole lot of publicity behind it. So I feel like nobody really picked up on it, and those of us that did really enjoy it. And again, another lost franchise that I feel like they missed out on picking back up and capitalizing on.
They really they fucked up with this game. It was set up perfectly for being done in seasons.
Oh yeah.
And instead, they're like, how about we just make one game? They set it up as episodes, so there's absolutely no reason for it not to be done in seasons, and yet they haven't. But I do agree, with Blur and Split Second coming out, it's almost like it split the community in half. Almost like picking Guitar Hero or Rock Band. It split the community.
Yeah, that's a really good example. Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't feel like either game got their due. Blur and Split Second, they released at the same time, and that was the last of it that we ever heard of it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I'd like to see.
Yeah, Blur had a lot of hype.
It did.
Yeah, Blur had a lot of hype, but I feel like, again, kind of like what you just said, everybody played it for the initial, release and everything, and then it didn't really progress from there.
Right.
Right. Oh no! I forgot you can't go that way.
There's only so many ways you can go. So you kind of touched base on this a little bit earlier, but what would you say is your earliest gaming memory?
Oh man. Okay, I'll give you one. And I hate that I can't name off the games that I'm referencing, so please forgive me.
That's fine.
Hopefully
I'll add annotations.
Our viewers will, hopefully our viewers will forgive us too. But there was a motorcycle racing game, again in an arcade setting, where it was the the full simulation, if you will, where you actually sat on a bolted-in motorcycle frame, and it was a dirt bike racing game. And so my mom, like I said, she would give me change, to go play while she was playing pool, and I went to my favorite racing game. And at the time, there were probably 6 to 8, you know, 6 to 8 stations that were all connected to each other, which was really fun because it was one of the first games that you could really have a multiplayer interaction, you know, in an arcade setting. At least for my memory, you know.
Right.
And so here I am, you know, 4-year-old version of myself, and a couple of gentlemen who were probably, you know, mid-30s, you know, late 20s, things of that nature, got on there, and I just remember finishing in first and managing to beat every single one of those guys, to the point to where they crowded around me at the end of the game and, you know, were really, you know, giving me compliments and all this stuff. And my mom thought that all these older men were messing with her son, so she comes running over there, you know, really freaked out. And all of them proceed to start asking her, you know, does he race in real life? Have you bought him a motorcycle yet? And to the point to where the weeks following, we actually went and, you know, walked around different motorcycle dealerships looking at little, you know, 50cc motorcycles. Obviously that never came to fruition, but yeah, that's a pretty fond memory for me.
No, that's awesome. That's a great memory.
Yeah.
Kind of made me nervous for a second, because you were like, yeah, I beat everybody, and then I thought that this is going to take a
then I got
different turn.
Proceeded to got, you know, beat up by a bunch of 30-year-olds. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just kind of figured that would have been the thing, because you're like, well, yeah, you know, I ended up, you know, beating them all, and you know, they started getting mad, and yeah, and it was like, you know, I told them to go fuck themselves, and a bear came
Nothing
in
like
and
that.
beat their ass. Whoa! That is an intense gaming memory from your childhood.
I mean, yeah, you know,
So,
nothing quite that crazy.
would you say you're a single player or a multiplayer kind of guy?
Initially starting out, obviously I, you know, gravitated towards single player games more often than not, because more often than not it was just me playing. You know, occasionally Mom would play, you know, Sonic with me on the Genesis and things like that, but even then that's not, I don't really consider that multiplayer per se, because it's more of a, you know, you versus me kind of thing.
Right.
But once I got into playing, you know, Xbox and had my first Xbox, of course, you know, Halo and Fusion Frenzy and, you know, a lot of really cool, you know, multiplayer games started to pop up, and of course, you know, had friends to play with then, you know, as I moved up here and broadened that spectrum a little bit. And so I think I've gravitated towards multiplayer games more often than not now. I don't really, yeah, I don't even think I have a game on my hard drive right now that is strictly a single player setting. So I think multiplayer is more so where it's at.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm the same way. I have a few single player games, but they don't get anyone.
Now, you know, if LucasArts ever decides to, you know, fill my hopes and dreams and, you know, make a third Knights of the Old Republic, then
Right.
I might disappear for a little bit.
I don't know. I guess there's that.
I don't see that happening.
That we all played RDR, and we binged that when it came out.
Sure.
I mean, I guess that's really about it. What game have you played that you would say is the worst game of all time, or we can go into the game that you regret buying or sinking time in the most?
Man, I know we were discussing this pre-interview. Now, would you? How are you classifying worst game? Now, are you saying most difficult, frustrating, things of that nature, or are you just saying worst game? It just wasn't enjoyable. Wasn't like what kind of answer are you looking for?
What were you playing when you had the worst gaming experience of all time, and it was the game's fault?
Man, you're really setting me up to answer that answer, aren't you? All right.
That is not Madden.
That is okay. Cool. Yeah. We can wipe that off the board then.
Right.
Man, I'm gonna have to think about that for a minute. You know what? Hold on. I can actually give you an answer to that. Going back to single player and or multiplayer games that you could potentially play, and I don't know if you have any experience with this franchise. I know you picked it up a little bit, but I don't know how extensively you played through it. But the Gears of War franchises, like that game as a whole, Gears of War 4 for me, because I had played 1, I'd played all the way through 2, played all the way through 3, loved the storyline, loved the character arcs and everything about it, and Gears of War 4 has completely and utterly turned me off of that franchise.
Wow.
Wow. Two levels into the game, I could not get it past the checkpoint. I figured by 4 games in, I might as well put it on the 3rd to hardest difficulty setting, whatever they call that, the Gears of War equivalent. I can't remember it. And I was like, okay, I'm comfortable with that setting. I might as well play through it. It got to the point to where I dumbed it down to the easiest setting, and still could not progress past a certain checkpoint in the 2nd level. I'm just like, alright, I'm done. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know. There had to be like something. There's just like something there that was like the game didn't make it.
Yeah.
To the point where it's just
I have no idea.
It's like
I got nothing. Now, I could go fully retro with the answer if you'd like me to, or if you're good with that answer, we could
sure.
go there too.
Okay, of course.
Oh man. Okay. All right. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we even read up on an article a few months ago prior to this that even lists this particular gaming moment that I'm going to reference as one of the hardest video games that you can progress through. But the Lion King Disney game on the Sega Genesis, level 3, it's not happening. It's not happening. To this day, I still don't think I've even progressed past that level. And for those of you wondering, my Genesis still works, and I occasionally still plug it in, and I still can't get past that stupid level.
Man, it's so much you can imagine as kids. Like, there's just something about it to where, like, I don't know, like games that we played as a kid on these older consoles, like they weren't necessarily as hard.
Version of me.
Well, here's the thing. Like, they're not nearly as hard, and then you become an adult, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck to do with my hands right now. I don't get it.
Right, you're just spazzing out.
Right.
I mean, there's only 2 buttons on that controller, and I still couldn't figure it out.
Right. Oh, Lord.
So, yeah. No, that was incredibly infuriating. I have nightmares of that, because that's my favorite Disney movie, and I couldn't even beat the stupid game.
Oh my god. There's this guy in this truck right in front of me that right off the line, he's holding down his e-brake.
I wonder who that could be.
I have no clue who it could be. Certainly not a member of our team, that is for certain.
Nope.
Oh, Jesus. I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I made it. Ah!
Nope. Bye.
What game do you feel deserves a remake? Like a complete bring back the entire franchise. And we've touched base on Blur. We've touched base on Split Second. What is one game that, if they were to announce today, you'd be like, okay, I'm sorry, but this is happening.
So, as far as like digitally remastering, or just totally bringing back and introducing like a new game into the series,
or rebooting the franchise, either one. But
just rebooting the franchise, I guess,
or any of them. No, give me all of the
above. A, B, and C.
Wrecked by Foot. I swear these names have changed since last time.
They do have a little bit more of a undertone to them now, don't they? Well, I think that was one of my initial answers when the episode first started, but if they obviously brought back Knights of the Old Republic, in any capacity, I would have to jump on that. I think another game that collectively you and I both enjoy, Left 4 Dead, obviously. Just waiting on that to happen.
1 year.
Yeah, one day. I think that's really it, though. I don't really have any other go-to answers that are really, popping into my head right now. So I guess we'll just go with those two.
And I've got a couple more questions here.
Sure.
Mainly, what would you say is your guilty pleasure game?
Oh man, my guilty pleasure game. Huh. All right.
There we go.
We have to think about that for a little bit. I don't really have. Oh well. I don't know. I really wouldn't say it's a guilty pleasure game per se. It's not even on my hard drive anymore, honestly. But Battle Block Theater, I really enjoyed that game, and that was just a game that was really out of my wheelhouse when I first installed it. Not really into platformers, wasn't really into side scrollers, anything like that. But it was just a really enjoyable, fun little game for me, and I really enjoyed the multiplayer nights that we would have trying to progress the different levels that they had in there.
I would agree. I really enjoyed. You know what it was? I'm surprised they haven't come out with another one yet.
Yeah.
It was simple. It was fun. It was just good stuff.
Yeah, I guess you could throw my hat into that answer as well. As far as oh no, why did you do this?
Yes.
Why do you hate me?
Yes,
during my interview, why do you gotta do that?
You give me that. You give. I was desperate. Oof. Oh my goodness. Yeah, no bueno. And actually at the end of the day, I guess that's really the only questions I have. What do you get out of for it's what every interviewer wants to hear. Oh no! How am I so shitty at this all of a sudden? I'm turning into straight garbage. But yeah, I guess as a last question, what is the thing that you get most out of gaming now?
I think it really goes into being a multiplayer gamer now, for the most part. I really enjoy being a team player, and as far as getting satisfaction out of it, that goes kind of touches on my whole gaming psyche. I really enjoy it when I'm a team player that not only plays for the team, but also really commits to the team and progresses the team to things that need to happen in the game for us to get a win or get a progress to the next level, things of that nature. So I think it's just more of a a social gathering for me, and being able to, I don't know, I guess just progress in the digital playground that we explore, whether it's Sea of Thieves or Grand Theft Auto or just any of the games that we really frequent. I just enjoy being a part of that and being able to be someone that helps us reach the goal, whatever it is, whether it's a little nonchalant thing of trying to do something on GTA, or whether it's something crazy like trying to get through a level on Left 4 Dead or anything like that. I mean, it's just the satisfaction of, I guess, progress. But then the counter to that is, if I'm not being productive, then I get instantaneously frustrated, which you have experienced many a nights, and I apologize. But yeah,
no, I mean, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Well, all right, man. Well, thanks for coming on here. Let me interview you. Ask you a few questions.
Yeah, of course.
All that jazz. And
thanks for giving me the opportunity.
My pleasure, man. Anytime. My name is Steven, aka the Phonograph. And I'm interviewing Spirithawk18, aka Jack. And this has been Gaming Effects, and we will catch you all next time.